Ho, 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 it's almost Christmas, and I want to say I'm posting this video today because I fully appreciate that everybody is really busy, and a Wednesday morning just before Christmas is not the ideal time to do a mastermind group. However, this morning's mastermind group was going to be around overcoming objections, and I want to do this as a mastermind, and that means that brings everybody together and we all bounce ideas off of each other, and it's not just me giving the answers, because I can tell you, you're out there experiencing how to over these objections even more than I am. So what you've got as a team coming together is even more powerful. So we need to make sure that we come on and we do this together. However, I do appreciate that this is the week before Christmas and everybody's probably frantically buying Christmas shopping and getting their dinners ready and organizing their children because it's now half term. So I'm just going to do this recording for you with some slides that we did from our road tour. For those of you that missed it, you're going to appreciate this. And I want to overcome I want to kind of overview the invite process. I know we did it last week. This is just a reinforcement of what we did last week, ready for when we're going to overcome the objections. Now I'm going to pick this one back up. The week after we go back, after New Year, will be the next Wednesday meeting that we will do. So I'm not going to be hosting a Wednesday morning mastermind next week. It is the day after Boxing Day. We're all still going to be frantic with our families and having enjoying the Christmas break. So I'm going to come back the week after. So that will be after the first, so it's like the 3rd of January, Wednesday, the 3rd of January, I believe. We will go live again in this mastermind group and we will do the overcoming objections. So I'm just going to play a little video for you just to remind you what you're part of as a bigger picture.
Being a Beachbody coach is the most rewarding job on the planet. You can start changing people from the inside out and help them start having confidence.
For me to truly shine and be my best self was being a coach. With Beachbody and coaching, you feel good. Other people are noticing that, and then you have the ability to turn around and help them feel that good. We have to be willing to share and help others while we're on our own journey. I gained just a new oomph inside of me where I'm like, you know what, I want to help more. To be able to just give other people that community and that support and that love and that passion is so fulfilling to me.
You're helping these people and you're seeing people's lives change, and what you're doing every single day makes a difference.
I want to help as many people as possible do this. It's too good to keep secret.
What would the world be like if everyone was living to their full potential, if everyone was following the vision and the purpose that was in their heart?
I just have people on my team that have changed their lives, and to watch that and know that I have played a part in that is so amazing. There's not even words that can describe how cool that is.
There we go. So that's what you're part of. Apologies if the video was a bit skippy there. I know our internet's not so great today at home, but I wanted you to really hear the words, and it really gets me emotionally affected, I think, listening to that video, because I've been to a summit and I've experienced what that feels like to be surrounded by that many people. And yes, we want to recreate that on January the 14th in Birmingham at the ICC Arena. We're going to be holding our own Super Saturday, which is like a mini summit where everyone comes together. You get to hear about where all the new trips are for Success Club next year. You'll get to work out with amazing Autumn Calabrese the day before she launches. So she's super excited. I've had lots of emails going backwards and forwards with Autumn about coming over here, and she's really keen to kind of give you her all, and you get it firsthand just the day before we launch. So that's really exciting. So 4 vital behaviors of successful coaching. I'm just going to remind you, although I know you all know, because to be entered into this Emerald Coaches group, you need to have answered the questions on them. They are: be a proof the products work, invite, recognize, and do personal development. And I know there'll be lots of us topping up our personal development right now as we're coming up to Christmas and having to deal with all kinds of car parking challenges, wrapping paper challenges, buying Christmas presents, family turning up. Now's a great time to really overload on personal development and keep you in the right frame of mind. But one thing we did go through and we discovered on our road tour was the invite process was a real challenge for people. And we kind of had that last week when we spoke about it in our mastermind group. And then we said, let's cover objections. Well, like I've said, I want to postpone that because I want a group of people to really experience that. And there's not enough people on this call this morning for us to really benefit from a mastermind. So the key mindset shift to do, and these are all slides that we covered over at the road tour when we went across the UK. And it's something for you to really think about as we go into the next year. And I know people are winding down for Christmas, and you are going to get obviously a lot of objections at this time of year, A, for financial reasons, B, for, just time, general time. People just don't have it right now. We proved that by the amount of people that have shown up today. And it is you getting into the mindset that you are a business owner for the new year and starting to think about what goals you're going to set for 2018. And you are now all entrepreneurs who are owning a franchise. So your 160, 180 pound challenge packs that you've purchased, that is your business franchise. And it's unheard of for any other kind of franchise business out there to have such an inexpensive investment to start off with. But the opportunity you have with this is huge. And it doesn't matter which franchise you bought, you could have that same earning opportunity with this one. So it's really you getting into that you are now a business owner. And so as it says here, employees trade time for income and owners create value for income. I'm really fortunate that I get to do both on that one with being an employee. And I also see it as an owner of a business for the UK, because I really look at it like that, so that I give you value. But for you, it's all about how you give your value to your customers and to your team to get your income coming back, because it's a true reflection of your earnings is how much value you can give to your customers. So we really spoke about this on our road tour. So that could be one key mindset shift. And sometimes when you're going into a business for the first time, it is a challenge to kind of get into that mindset, because you think, well, I've done all this work, I should be getting, I've put all this time in, I should now be getting paid for it. Whereas actually you need to just keep giving the value, and then the income returns. And I had a great call with somebody last night, and we were talking about a really successful business owner who said it took him 12 months. He didn't earn anything for 12 months when he set up his first business, and how he's a multi-millionaire. And he knew that when he went into it. But it is that whole, you giving value, treating it like a business, not expecting a massive return initially, but then you will get a return back. And I'm going to go through and do a training. I've asked Milan Jensen, who's over in the US, to come and do something around how you earn your money. So watch out for that Zoom call that will be happening very soon as well. So treat your network like a business asset was our next slide that we covered here. And it's talking about expanding your network daily, being consistently present and engaged. And I hear this all the time, is that people kind of drop the ball. And don't drop the ball. Just keep that ball up. Just keep being, present. Make sure that you slot it into your time of day. If you're in a job and your expectation as a job was that you had to do something daily, as part of your job, you would make sure you do it. So get that mindset on that this is your business, and now it is as important as something you would be expected to do within a job, and schedule it into your day. And then always look for new ways to add value with your network. And that's why these mastermind groups are really great, because you can all come together and kind of share ideas as well. So we talked about growing your warm market last week and developing like a consistent identity as to who you were, and it not being just about you posting about anything to do with Beachbody. So it's knowing who you are, because you're looking to expand your network. And what a great way to do it with people that you absolutely can connect with and really get on with, because they've got the same kind of values with you or the same interests as you. And so this slide's really important. And obviously you can screenshot this. I can post these slides up into our group, and take the time over Christmas and New Year to kind of really look at where your interests are, what are your descriptors, who are you as a person, and where are your values, what's really important to you. Are your values, spending time with your children? Are they all about, being honest and truthful and kind of sharing a real honest, open conversation on Facebook, your journey, rather than being this kind of facade of who you think people want to see? Is one of your values you being true to yourself? So just write down what your core values are and really get to understand who you are over the Christmas and New Year period. And then once you've done that, it makes it a lot easier for you to know who to go after. on this conversation I had last night, we were speaking about, you know, finding coaches and developing customers into coaches. And that's a really perfect way for us as Team Beachbody to work our business. The idea is that you fill a funnel of customers and then they evolve into a coach. Now, this takes time, and it can take anything from 3 to 6 months, even longer. I've heard of top coaches that have got like a 5-star diamond, you know, 3 years after they were first introduced to it. So I would say, you know, be patient with that one. And that is your typical way of filling the funnel with customers and then involving them, identifying them within the group when they show some kind of coaching kind of behavior, making sure that you recognize it. And that's a fantastic way. The other ways that you can grow coaches is by really looking at who you know that already kind of possess like leadership skills, or already organizing, like, I don't know, mums groups, or, you know, part of the PTA at school, or they're always going to the gym and organizing get-togethers afterwards. These are all really good signs of somebody that could be a future coach. And in that phase, when you've identified them, is go and tell them that they would be great in this business. Say that you've just started something brand new, and actually you're seeing them as somebody that would do really well in this as a business. And most people would love to earn some extra money, would love to feel part of something where they've got flexibility. And so we'll take it as a compliment. And I've tested this. I've got a couple of friends that I know would be absolutely amazing in Beachbody. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to tell them. And they both came back really positive and said they're going to come along in January. So I know it works. Once you've got that whole, I know who I'm looking for, someone with leadership skills, someone who organizes things, somebody who loves to go to the gym or loves to go and organize, you know, hike mountains or do workouts. And I'm just going to go and tell them that they'd be brilliant in this business. And that's how you can go and identify a coach in a kind of fast-paced kind of way. But just remember that 97% of the UK population are going to want to be customers, and only 3% are going to want to be coaches, because not everybody will want to run their own business or want the responsibility of running their own business. And it sounds like a big, scary number when you say 97% of customers and 3% are coaches. But actually, that's 3% of 62 million people here in the UK. That's a lot. That's quite a lot. So don't panic. There's plenty of people out there to be coaches. And then you'll find even more of them evolving once they've had a really good transformation within your business, will evolve into it. And then they'll realize then that, you know what, I am quite good at this and I just love helping people. So remembering who you're going to go after and looking to attract as well. And so on here, it's got, you know, looking at the demographics of your kind of person that you want to attract and looking at their interests, their personality, words that would describe them. So this is just some clues there for you on how to expand your warm market. And it's not something that happens instantly. Remember, you're going to have to date them for a while. This is not just, I'm going to jump into bed with you on the first date. This is like, I'm going to get to know you and genuinely get to know somebody. And this is why this side of it can take 3 to 6 months. And so patience is the biggest thing. I think I mentioned patience in a conversation with people pretty much 12, 15 times a day, every single day. And patience, just write it on the board, write it on the wall, and just say, just give it time. Just have patience. Go and listen to Gary Vaynerchuk. He talks about patience. You know, he's hugely passionate about that. It is probably the most important skill that you can embrace. And I know we find it really hard because everything is so on the spot right now. But this is a business, and treat it like that. And you're going to need to give it some time. So there's some clues for you for how to help you expand your warm market. And then you know who it is you're looking for. So this is the avatar type of person. So make sure you write down the names of these people that you're going to go, actually, I'm going to go and speak to them about becoming a customer. I know that they're actually looking for something right now. This type of person will be looking for something. Or that person you think, I am going to identify this person as a coach. I know that they run the PTA. They are amazing at organizing, you know, parties and group get-togethers and going and hiking up mountains. Put them down on this list, and then we call this kind of your chicken list. You're going to want to go and approach these people and speak to them. But maybe just, you know, you can do it now. Obviously do it now because you want them to get to January. And I would say January the 14th would be an absolute awesome investment for them to come along to that event and have a look at the bigger picture. So definitely write them down and approach them as soon as possible. So you've now started looking at how you can gather your tribe, and it is basically who you are as an identity for a team. And there are different teams that I see out there all the time, and there's the ones that are all personal trainers. They've all come together and they're all, you know, very similar in nature. I've got one group I know of that have all got dogs. It's really interesting. They've kind of all come together. They've all got dogs in common, and that's, you know, their tribe is that they're all, you know, they all love their dogs and they all go out dog walking. And it's finding your tribe. Are you somebody who, you know, wants to help people in the kitchen with the way they make their meals and, you know, getting their kids to eat healthy again? Is that your buzz? So find your tribe, and that's the type of person you want to surround yourself with as well. So ways in which you can add value, and I know I've spoken about this quite a few times, and there's some ideas here for you. Free groups and community are at the top there. And the reason why I say this is because in the UK, with all the Success Club 10 numbers, I can tell you now that pretty much everybody that's in Success Club 10 are building things locally in their own community and starting there, which is fantastic. And for those of you that don't know anything about the 3-foot rule in network marketing, go Google. I'm sure on YouTube you'll find something to do with 3-foot rule and network marketing. That is literally everyone you come in contact with locally. You know, you share what you do and let them know, so that if they ever want to join Beachbody, they go, ah, that's it. I know Bola, she does this. She said about Beachbody, I'm going to go back and speak to Bola because she's mentioned it to me. If they don't know you do it, they're just going to join with anybody. And it could be somebody in Scotland when you're down in London. So everybody locally, you just want them to know. And just like, even if you just got to them and say, look, it may not be for you right now, but if any point in the future you ever hear of Shaun T, 80-Day Obsession, Beachbody, anything like that, anything to do with fitness, can you just please make sure you come to me first, because I'm your local coach. Boom, done. You're not selling them anything. You're just letting them know what you're doing, and then they'll come to you first because they'll go, oh yeah, I do want to do 80. Oh, I've heard about this 80-Day Obsession. Oh, hold on a second. Bola mentioned it to me. I'm going to go back and speak to her about it. Locally, you want everyone to come to you. The last thing you want is someone in America, somebody in your local street or town, joining with them rather than you, because you haven't told them. So make sure everybody there in your local community knows what you do. But adding value, you can give recipe ideas. These are brilliant, especially around 80-Day Obsession when we're about to launch, because there's going to be timed meals. And so anything you can do to share any recipes that you're doing during that 80 days will be an absolute godsend to lots of people, I'm sure. Clean eating strategies, fit clubs, answering questions, motivating and encouraging. So I would also add in there recognition. Recognize someone when they're doing something great, because we don't get recognized enough in our jobs and day-to-day life. So when we did this, we did like a breakout for free challenge groups on the road tour. And it was like, how are you adding value? And so that's how that list previous has kind of evolved from there, because we found some great ideas as to how people will add in values with regards to the free challenge groups. And I would say, you know, I talk about Megan and Andrew Sunday quite a lot, and they've been on the National Wake Up Call, and I know Andrew's going to probably do another one for us next year, is that they add tons of value. They are consistent, they are persistent, they turn up every single day. They are always recognizing somebody when they do something great, and they give a really great free service. And so when Megan or Andrew decide to do a actual challenge, so like a 21-day fix or for the 80-Day Obsession, you know, people go, oh yeah, I'm ready now. And so if they've said no, and when we talk about overcoming objections, when they say no, what they do is put them into this funnel. And this funnel kind of waiting room group is where they get stuff every day, but they don't get too much. They get just enough that they'll want more. And that's the key to it, is just give people enough just so they want more. And that's when they kind of have to commit to purchasing something to get that little bit more. So they're getting just enough that they're just tipping over the edge there to get some more. But they know that at that point, you know, I think their challenge group started with one person, this free group, with 11 people in this free group. And it was over 450 the last time I checked in with them. So it's evolving, and all of these people are all the people that have said no to them have been placed into this group, which is absolutely awesome. And so, you know, this is that whole go for no. When I gave you that challenge last week, and I'm not sure how many people have done it, obviously I get it's Christmas, but remember, this is your business, and your kind of all the effort and the seeds that you start sowing now will kind of come to fruition sort of like early next year. So kind of make sure you're doing something every day. But that go for no challenge was really to fill your waiting room. You know, for everyone that gets a no, you go, okay, well, let me just pop you into this group if that's okay. And then you'll just get hints and tips from me. I'll give you some clean eating things. We'll talk about hydration and why it's important. And then when you're ready, you know where I am. So you've kind of popped them into a waiting room. So that was a really strong point that came out across the UK Road Tour. And so we said here, most coaches look at inviting backwards. Inviting isn't trying to convince someone to do something they don't want to do. And I know from some of the objections that I've had, you know, so some people have put the objections I've had of like, oh, I'm injured. Well, you can't convince somebody. There's no way of overcoming that. If somebody is genuinely injured, there's absolutely no way you can overcome that until they're better. But just letting them know, okay, great, well, I can help you with some clean eating stuff. Just tap in if you're really interested, because remember, you've gone and found out everything about them, which we're going to go into in a moment, is like going to give them some hints and tips so they can eat healthier, maybe to help with their recovery. You can't convince somebody to do something they want to do. You need to kind of like really find out what their problems are and then find a solution to really help them. Just bear with me while I just have a cough. So you're going to need to do that, is find out what they want. So let's go back to this slide. So like I've just said, inviting is matching needs with solutions and help them make the decision to start. Ask the questions. So a lot of people are getting objections too soon. They're asking them to commit to something before they've got the answers to lots of questions. And the questions being like, if they've showed an interest, is like, okay, well, why are you showing an interest in Beachbody? You know, what is it that you're finding that you want to do? You know, do you have time to go to the gym? How much time do you actually have during the day? Find out all, you know, your objections that you get. Find a question to get an answer for that objection before they give you the objection. Because then if they say, well, actually, I say, oh, I don't have time. You say, well, you know, we asked you if you watch like Coronation Street or EastEnders every day. That would be a really good time for you to put a workout on, because you could find half an hour to watch EastEnders and Coronation Street. And in all fairness, you can put that on in the corner of the room whilst you're still doing your workout. And it's like you've already found an objection to their time, you know, overcoming their time one that they say they don't have enough time. So you want to find their problem and then give them the solution. Make sure that you are you. Don't try and be somebody you're not. Don't try and copy all of the, you know, the 15-star diamonds that you're not them. Be yourself. They do some amazing stuff, and take everything that they give you and then make it yours. So it is very much coming from you, and you don't become this person that's not you. And people are going, what's happened to her? Where is she? What's she doing now? Intent matters far more than technique. Be intentional. You know, you don't need to be an expert. And Gary Vaynerchuk said something today on one of his training videos. I always wake up and listen to Gary V. He's kind of like my wake up in the morning, as I'm brushing my teeth, listen to Gary V, because he's always got something really great to say. And this morning he was talking about how intent matters more, and you being yourself, and kind of putting your flaws kind of first, telling them that you're not an expert. I'm not a qualified personal trainer. I'm not this and I'm not that. Giving them everything that you're not initially, but then backing it up with everything you can actually give, because then they can't find anything wrong with you, because you've literally presented all of your flaws on a plate and you've told them, look, I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not a qualified coach. I'm not an instructor for any of the Beachbody programs. However, what I am is hugely passionate about helping people to lose weight. I'm consistently going to be, you know, posting in our group and giving you support. I'm going to be there every day. We're going to make measurements together. I'm going to, you know, get a program that's really good for you and find a solution to the problem that you've got. And so you kind of present them with your flaws and your kind of like everything that's wrong first, but then go in and back it up with everything that you are really good at. And I think that kind of really emphasizes number one there, where it says intent matters more than technique. You don't need to be an expert, and don't wait for you to be an expert. Just tell everyone you're not an expert. You know, we go to McDonald's and in the shop, I say we don't, I'd like to say we don't go to McDonald's, but if we did go to McDonald's, we've all been there. You know, we've all walked in the shop, and you walk up to the queue and the girl's there with her badge on and she's got 1 star. She's still serving. She's got 1 star, but she's still serving and she's still there talking to you, but we know she's new. So instantly we look at the stars, we look at her, and if she takes her time, we kind of know she's learning. So they've told us, you know, in a very visual way. So let us tell them that, you know, you've just started. You're doing this yourself for the first time. You're starting your first challenge group. Give them the intent, give them intent rather than technique. Don't worry about not being an expert. People change for pain or pleasure. I've talked about this lots. Find people's why. Try and not let them get to the pain point where they've been diagnosed with diabetes, or they now have joint problems, or they can't move and can't play with their kids. Try not to get to that pain point first, but let them know that if things carried on, you know, maybe that is where they'll end up. And then also the pleasure side is all of the before and after photos now that we see on 80-Day Obsession. I know for definite for me, it's like, wow. For 3 months, if I just commit to 3 months, I'm going to have a transformation like that. I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's a pleasure thing. So those before and after photos that you're going to create with your own teams within the next 80 days that do 80-Day Obsession starting on the 15th of January. Your stories now to be able to share are going to be phenomenal. So that'll be a very much a pleasure point. So make sure you're using those before and afters. And as it said there, use questions and listen to the answers and write down the answers that they give you. Don't just ask the questions and ignore them. Write down the answers and then get ready for when they give you an objection, because hopefully you've got your list of answers to all of the objections they're going to give you already answered. You want to kind of ask every question regarding an objection that they're going to give you before you get to the objections. So there we go. The 4 phases of inviting: form a relationship, identify a need, share info and get feedback, and assume success. And a really great question, actually. I went and did neuro-linguistic programming, which is NLP, a few years ago. And one of the things the coach said to me was, so when would now be a really good time to start that? Because I was like hesitating on something. Just that use of language alone, you know, it made me giggle, because he said, when would now be a really good time to start? But 2, because it kind of used the power of language in making you think about now as the time to start. So just, you know, feel free to use that line. I love that line. It works every time. It even evokes like a little giggle or, you know, a bit of a conversation around it. It's like if someone's hesitating about starting the transformation, you know, when you get into the 14th of January and little obsession, 80-Day Obsession starting the next day, and it's like, come on, seriously, when would now be a really good time for you to start? Is a really good way of assuming success and getting that in the bag. So we looked at sharing a solution, and the sharing the solution is recommended a Beachbody solution that addresses the need. Now, I know we're all focusing on 80-Day Obsession, and that's not going to be for everyone. So remember that when you're working at the moment, is that not everyone is going to want to do it. As much as we would love them all to do it, and we know the before and afters are going to create some real excitement, not everybody is going to be able to do it, you know, for different reasons in their life. However, we have got lots of other programs, and make sure that you kind of educate yourself on what's available, and then make sure you kind of give them a solution to their problem. And it could be that they just do V2. And I know Diana Wright up in Scotland, her mum has, you know, just started, literally, she said, I'm just going to put on V2 and see what happens. And she said she put V2 on, her mum was working out in her living room and loving it. Whereas none of the other programs would have worked for her mum at all. So find the program that will work specifically for that problem and your customer. And you'll know that from the questions that you've asked. And then also, you know, it says here, get feedback on what people think and what they say. And, you know, there's some ideas there on what to say, but we'll go into this a little bit more detail when we do the overcoming objections when we come back from Christmas and our New Year celebrations. So using feel, felt, found, I put on there is that when somebody gives me an objection, I always had these 3 words written up on my board when I was in the field, and it was feel, felt, found. And in that order as well. And if somebody said to me, you know, I just don't think I had time, I would say, you know what, I absolutely understand how you feel. I felt exactly the same way. And what I found was, if I just switched off Coronation Street once a night, you know, and just delayed it, or I had Coronation Street on in the background and I had my workout going on, I actually found that I could do it. So you've got, I feel, you're now emphasizing with them, and you're kind of not kind of aggressively going against what they've just said. You've now related to it. So your felt thing needs, you've now related to it, but then found the solution. What I found is, so I feel the same. I absolutely understand how you feel. I felt exactly the same way, but what I found was, and I always put that but in there because that kind of negates everything that you've just said, and give them the solution to there. So there we go. There's some feedback. So now I would love to go into an objections breakout. However, you're not here. You're out Christmas shopping. So what we're going to do is press pause on this. And I want you to really enjoy Christmas and the new year. Have an absolutely awesome time. Build yourself up and get some great before photos for our A to Deb session, because I know you're all going to be eating and drinking. Well, I say all, but a lot of us are doing that. But you're going to make it an absolutely awesome Christmas and start visualizing your goals for 2018. And what we'll do is go through overcoming objections in the first 2 weeks of the new year. So I'm not going to be here next week, the couple of days after Christmas. I'm actually on holiday. I will be around in the group to answer any questions and speak to you all every now and again. But I just want to say have an absolutely awesome Christmas, and I shall see you soon.